with the city, provide them recommendations on an annual basis for what we do as far as replacement, lease turn-ins, equity opportunities, things like that. And day-to-day management from our account fleet coordinator, Christina, who is virtual, so she couldn't make it tonight, but handling all the administrative day-to-day as well. So that's kind of the lay of land of the program. Right now there's 31 vehicles that y'all have on lease with us right now. There are 8 city-owned vehicles that remain that were prior to the partnership that are still under our purview. And then we have 9 vehicles that are scheduled on order, actually a couple just delivered this week, which is great. So a couple new vehicles being added to the program as well. And then last thing to note is since in the last, 2 years and some change, we've been able to sell around 29 vehicles on your behalf, and I'll detail a little bit more what we were able to do on the resale for that. All right, so don't squint your eyes too hard. There's a lot going on this slide, but I'll just kind of briefly walk you through what we're looking at. So at the bottom left, that's really just when the program first began. This is what was presented to council as proof of concept of our program. So it's a 10-year model. It's an estimate of what we anticipated the cost would be at that time if we were to flip all the vehicles that you owned into open-ended leases. On the right is a breakdown of just really the reasons why the city decided to partner with us in the beginning. And those bullet points are really what I want to talk to you about because that's really why the partnership began. So the city had 4 main priorities at the beginning of the partnership. First of all, reducing your operating costs. That is the number one thing. When I say operating costs, we mean your fuel spend and your maintenance spend. Number 2, equity retention. To explain how the program works without getting too into the weeds, we operate an open-ended equity lease. So it's not like your traditional dealer lease where you turn it in and at the end of it. At the end of our term, we will sell the vehicle on your behalf, and any equity that remains in that vehicle, we return back to the city, and you can place it either in your budget for other departments or towards the next lease that you want to do for the replacement. So equity retention was a priority. Number 3, leveraging our resale channels. So we have Enterprise is a big company, and we have a marketing division that's one of the best in the industry. Right now, averaging right around 110% of what we call the commercial value index. Think of it as Blue Book, essentially. So we're selling a little better than the industry, or quite a bit better than the industry. And then lastly, and very importantly, is being able to provide newer vehicles and safer vehicles for your employees to drive. Quick note on that, at the time when the partnership started, the average age of your fleet was around 12 years old, just a little under 12 years. And today we are a little under 3 years old. So very good job there. All right. Current performance. So on the, again, don't squint too hard, but I swear that's gray at the top, pre-EFM, so that was where the city stood before the partnership. 38 vehicles in fleet in the green. It doesn't look green to me, but it was green. It's 2023, that's where we stand in this budget year. And then the bottom is just the delta, the difference between the two. So starting with fleet size, so 38 vehicles is what the city had when we began. Where we stand now, we have 31 on lease, but as I mentioned at the start, we do have some vehicles that are on order and actually some that have currently or delivered within the last couple of days. So this is the best look at a fully implemented lease for us. Next is aftermarket. Simply put, that's really just any of the orders. A lot of them are police vehicles and lights, lighting, and all that kind of stuff, shelving, whatever we would need to do to upfit the vehicle to be ready. Pre-Enterprise is around just a little under 30 grand per year spent in upfit. This year, a little under 23 grand, so a little bit of a delta just in this budget year. Now that can fluctuate.
Yeah.
That can fluctuate. It depends on the type of vehicle that we're cycling. So if we're doing a police vehicle a year from now, and those can run upwards of $20,000, $25,000 depending on if it's pursuit rated, et cetera. It will vary. So that's really more speaking to this particular year where I think we did a lot of public works trucks that required a little bit less upfit.
So it's not necessarily that you can do it cheaper than we could have done that, or is that a component?
Well, we do have partners, and we typically, when we send things out to quote, we'll quote multiple vendors and choose the best option for you. Cheapest option is not always the best, but it's the most. You know, sometimes it's a matter of how quickly does the city need this vehicle, and will that one get done quicker, and sometimes it's a matter of price. So
we have a specific department that handles only aftermarket equipment. So anytime we get a request, whether it's for a public works unit or a police vehicle, we send it up to them because they are our experts, so they're the ones actually figuring out what's the best, and they come to us with options, and now we come to the city and present with those options.
And thank goodness they exist. The world of aftermarket is like learning Latin sometimes, some of the terms and things. It's quite complicated.
Hey.
I'm in that world.
All righty, so moving over on to lease spend. So now it says lease spend at the top. Now pre-DFM there was no leases. The way the city was buying was just basically in cash from local dealers. So that's actually just a capital spend that we're looking at there. So a little under $120,000 per year, 118. 2023 it's up to 186. Now where we start to make up the difference and where you're really going to see the benefit of the partnership in particular is going to be where we drive down those operating costs. And you can see maintenance and fuel, combine them for y'all. Pre-partnership, pretty big number, $180,000 per year in maintenance and fuel combined. And this year, and this is a maintenance program and a fuel program, even though there's only 31 vehicles on lease, we're managing that entire fleet still. So this is fully implemented. We've been able to drive that down to $156,000. That's about a 13.5% decrease in operating expenses.
That number does include the last 12 months, so it's not just up to today.
Yep.
We took the number of the last 12 months, that way it was comparable to, what you were doing in pre-DFM.
So isn't that number affected by gas prices?
It absolutely is, and that's what makes it, for me, is even more impressive. I mean, I don't got to tell anyone in this room that gas is a little more expensive than it was in 2021. It is. So, fuel, yes. I mean, when you use our fuel cards, we partner with WEX. That's the company, or Right Express is what they're called. It gives you a little bit more visibility control so that you can see what transactions are being done and can put certain controls to limit the amount of spend. But really, a lot of that is being driven from the maintenance. So on the maintenance side, when your drivers are dropping it off for an oil change or whatever it may be, we have a team of ASE certified techs that look over every single repair order and make sure you're not being, nothing extra that's not added onto that repair order. In fact, and I will show it on a future slide, but there were, just over the last couple of years, it's not a huge number, but we were able to find around $1,700 in overcharges that we were able to get back to the city that would be qualified for savings. A lot of that too, though, is when you had a huge spend. Oh, sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
you said interrupt.
I said interrupt, so interrupt, sir.
I'm just curious about one thing here
Yes,
when
sir.
you're talking about maintenance. What do we have to do to get some of our local shops on the list of maintenance? If they're not competitive, I understand, but we do have a couple of shops here that should be qualified. How can I reach out to them and how do they get put on your list? We don't have a single place in River Oaks that you're doing maintenance with.
Got it.
Yeah,
According to your
we
list.
have a couple places that we are working in River Oaks. I don't know if
It's
they're
not on
still
this
doing
map.
down at Goodyear. We're doing that.
We have, yeah.
Yeah, and out there on 199, didn't we do that?
Performance.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Performance
There.
Auto, yeah.
We do use them, yes, sir.
Those
Are
were
we
two
using
that
We use local as much as possible.
Right.
And have you talked to the new company that took over for the Goodyear?
Yes, I believe we've gotten them hooked up. I need to get back with Christina. I believe we've gotten them to just roll everything over.
Okay.
They were signed up.
Okay, I only ask because we have a map here that does not list anything in River Oaks, so sorry, thank you.
If there's ever a shop, I mean, we're not here to take business from
Yeah, I understand.
anybody. So
I
if there's ever,
understand.
if there is ever a shop that is your mom and pop shop, that you use them for a specific reason and we don't want to go spend money outside the city, all you have to do is let Rob and Christina know who your shop contact is. We will get them in contact with our ASE certified technicians, which will then get them set up. It is probably a few weeks process, and the shop has to be willing to want to go through what we're asking for, but it's definitely doable, whatever it is that you guys are needing.
It sounds like we're already doing that, so thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Jeremy, and sorry.
Yes, sir. No, we did that.
I want them to have a chance.
Started the program, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So we don't do any maintenance in-house?
The only thing we do is oil changes, I think.
No, on the new vehicles, those are with the program.
The price is included in the lease,
So
so
it would be the big equipment.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh, yeah,
Cut
yeah,
this and stuff.
the trash